So we got some Edmonton Oilers stuff to dive into. And yeah, we're looking at a player profile who isn't on Edmonton right now. But things have just gotten really spicy between former Oiler and current St. Louis Blues forward Dylan Holloway and the management which let him go. We're going to be talking about Holloway in today's video. We're also going to dive into the latest and greatest with Connor McDavid because, of course, we kind of have to talk about him. Everybody's talking about him. Fact is, he's unsigned past 2025-2026, and he has been eligible to re-sign with Edmonton for a couple of months now. And the fact that he has not re-signed is the subject of concern for some, non-concern for others, though. Let's dive into Dylan Holloway first in regards to this video, because I think the Holloway stuff is a lot more juicy. There's some spice in there. Variety is the spice of life after all, and Dylan Holloway is giving it to us. He's 23 years old, 6'1", 205, a left-handed guy who had ended up signing an offer sheet with the St. Louis Blues worth $2.29 million a year for 2 years. Him and his buddy, Philip Broberg, both signed offer sheets to go over to St. Louis, citing a lack of actual negotiation in that territory with the Oilers and a lower guarantee of ice time in Edmonton, too. Holloway went from scoring 9 points in 38 games with Edmonton in 23-24 and 7 points in 25 games in the playoffs to 63 points in 77 games with the Blues this previous year. What a crazy explosion of offense for the young Dylan Holloway. However, a lot of Oilers fans won't necessarily look at Holloway's situation and say, wow, that was the one that got away. The Oilers had this guy, who is a 60-point caliber player, leave their organization because they didn't want to give him $2.2 million. I think a lot of Oilers fans are kind of happy with the way the team was constructed, outside of the goaltending, you could say, because they made the Cup Finals back-to-back years. Sure, they were not able to get the job done in the finals both times against Florida, but the fact that they still made it there is an indicator as to the strength of that team. However, we have ourselves a tweet that dives into some commentary from Dylan Holloway himself as to how things ended up leaving in Edmonton. Thomas Welsh went out there and posted this on Twitter. Dylan Holloway speaks out via the Cam and Strick podcast. It rubbed me the wrong way. How little Edmonton thought of me in our contract negotiations. I'm an Alberta boy. I wanted to go back to a team we went so far with, but as soon as Edmonton didn't reciprocate that feeling, I was all in on St. Louis. And this was a really interesting comment to make, citing some sort of an emotional damage done via the Edmonton Oilers on Holloway's behalf. And, there are a bunch of replies. Oh, he'll never score 20 goals this year. They better re-sign him. The entire rest of the podcast, he talks about how much he loves it in St. Louis and he hopes he stays for a long time. I don't think re-signing him will be an issue. I mean, the guy just put up a 60-point season making only $2.2 million. Of course, he's going to demand a pay raise here, but the fact that he is so open and honest about his frustration with Edmonton does get a little bit interesting. Here are some of the replies. You had Ryan Whitney with the infamous Raw is War gif of The Rock trashing up the locker room. Of course, Whit is an Edmonton Oilers fan. And then you also had Kevin McCurdy going out there and saying this: boo-hoo. They treated me like every other RFA in the league, so I took my ball and I went with my buddy Broberg. If you're so happy in St. Louis, why did you fire your agent? And there's an element of snarkiness in this tweet, a bunch of people going out there and replying. Like all things, there is nuance, something this platform is notoriously horrendous at dealing with. Holloway's comments irritate me. That doesn't mean the Oilers management get a free pass for messing the situation up in the first place, though. McCurdy also went out there and replied to his own tweet and this other reply here. I was on the side of matching the offer sheet. I also wished him well when he took that next shot during the season and further. I was quite fond of Dylan when he was an Oiler. Let's talk about nuance, though. And this is a lot. Oh my goodness. We are not going to go out there and look at everything, but still, I wanted to get some thoughts out there in regards to the Dylan Holloway comments itself. His ask in Edmonton was more than fair, having Jeff Jackson, Ken Holland, and co. sit on their hands and focus elsewhere. I don't blame Holloway one bit. It was obvious to anyone with a functioning brain he was about to pop off offensively too. A massive organizational blunder. So, at the end of the day, there are a bunch of replies and thoughts about Holloway. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Yes, it is true the Oilers had a very good run after Dylan Holloway was removed. They still made the finals, but for all y'all who were talking about Holloway a year ago when the offer sheet was put in place, how do you feel about it now? With that said, let's shift our gears over to the newest in regards to the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid, because the fact is, this guy does not have a contract yet, and there have been a bunch of articles being written and posted about it. I mean, Edmonton Journal is talking about McDavid's lack of a contract, TSN. The Oilers are not nervous about Connor McDavid's situation. Should Oilers fans stress out? Sportsnet goes out there and asks. Even the Times of India are going out there and talking about Connor McDavid. But to give us the scoop as to what's going on, BR Open Ice posted this, Frank Saravalli. It's September and Connor McDavid still does not have an extension in place. Frank Saravalli said, it's unlikely McDavid has a contract extension done by camp, as both he and the Oilers have not discussed numbers. For further reference, let's go out there and take a look at Spectors Hockey's coffee headlines from earlier this morning, because there's a really good write-up that Lyle Richardson gives out on the latest with Edmonton and Connor. David Staples cited Jeff Jackson's appearance on Oilers Now to address the rumors about the Oilers' contract negotiations with McDavid. Jackson is the CEO of Oilers operation for the Oilers, telling Bob Stouffer that they remain confident of getting a deal done. He indicated the term is still an issue. It's not as straightforward sometimes as people would like to be, Jackson said. Connor is just taking his time. The Oilers captain is eligible to become a UFA in July. He recently raised eyebrows by saying he wouldn't have a problem with starting this year without a contract extension. Jackson stated that Connor McDavid wasn't looking to break the bank to make as much money as he could. He wants to find the razor's edge where he gets paid for the star player that he is, that allows the team to surround himself with the best players that we possibly can, gives us options to do that beyond next year, so all that comes into his thinking. Then you also had Spector's note going out there and saying this, Staples believes McDavid is taking his time to study all the details and approach this from all angles for a deal that benefits him and the team. The Oilers are willing to accommodate whatever contract terms McDavid desires. If he seeks a league-leading AAV of $20 million on an 8-year deal, he'll get it. However, Jackson's comments suggest McDavid could seek a little less than top dollar on a shorter term. Bold prediction here from Lyle Richardson. McDavid signs a 5-year extension before the start of the year with an AAV of $8 million. Excuse me, not $8 million, $18 million. Add on an extra, $50 million over there. Feel free to weigh in with your predictions in the comments section below. So, with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about the Connor McDavid situation in Edmonton? The guy doesn't have a deal. He's comfortable playing without a contract, but it would definitely be in the Oilers' best interest to get a contract done, just so everybody kind of has a foothold as to where this is going to go. For me personally, if I had to place money on it, I won't, but if I had to, I'd say Connor McDavid probably stays in Edmonton. I think it's too out there and boisterous to even suggest that he would leave, so I'm not going to believe it until I actually see it. But I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about Connor McDavid and this situation going on? I even saw some other people saying that the Dylan Holloway comments can indicate some sort of a sour attitude that might also be present in McDavid's situation as well, but we can talk about these two separate issues as they are separately, or combine them if you want. It's all your prerogative after all. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well about the Dylan Holloway situation. Lots of Oilers news to go over in today's show. I hope you enjoyed this. För det and bye.